Thing you want to do before installing these doors is these two holes here need to be oversized. They need to be drilled out with a 1/2-inch drill bit. And when doing this, you want to be real careful because you don't want to drill all the way through and hit the plastic on the back side. Now with both those holes drilled out, you're going to take a little paint or a black magic marker or something and just cover that metal up so it don't rust. Next, you're going to want to remove this bolt right here. With that bolt out of the way, we can install our little rubber inserts. First thing you want to do is lay that up against the door and reinstall this screw lightly. With it started, we can take one of our front bolts and lightly install it. The front bolt. Then you want to hold up on the insert, hold it pretty tight to minimize the gap that you've got between the insert and the door. And you don't want to over tighten that because it's threading into plastic and it will break it if you ain't careful. Now on these inserts, notice how I'm pulling the door toward me, and I've got my finger on the back side here, that way I can pull this door panel kind of out toward me a little, just to make sure that rubber insert there is pushed all the way inside the door. Because what I'm doing here when I'm tightening this bolt out, it's expanding that insert, and that's what's going to hold the front of the door in place. And with one of them tight, we can go ahead and tighten the other one. And now the door the insert should be pretty snug. It shouldn't move around too much. Now with my panel on and my body lines lined up with my panel from front to rear, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bore this hole right here. Now this hole, you don't want to just take a drill and just bore it like this. You want to hold this in and you want to kind of lift up on it. Because as you can see, when I lift up on this part right here, that door comes in closer. So if you bore it with this hole right here, you're liable to have your hole too low. And if that hole's too low, you're going to have a gap in front of the door. Well, if you lift it up, just make it match your body line all the way around. And I'm going to take a 1/4-inch drill bit and just bore me a little hole. And that's all there is to it. For the bolt, you want to run it from the outside in, and you want to take the anchor nut and you want to put it on the inside of the door. Now something I didn't mention is if you've got aftermarket seats or something, before boring this hole, you want to make sure on the inside that there's nothing you're going to hit. My door is down lower, and I mean that's from the factory, that's the way this thing came. This door is laid down a little. So to get this to line up with the body line right, I'm going to adjust my door. This takes the T40 Torx. There's just four screws here that you can loosen. And notice how the door moved when I did that. Now we can lift the door up and down and get it where it needs to be. Alright, now with the door on, we want to center everything up good. We want to make sure the door bottom fits. We want to make sure the factory door looks good. Once we get the door where we want it, all I got to do is tighten these screws back up. And set. Now with my door readjusted, my body lines, the lower door panel, and my actual factory door line up better. Everything just got a smoother look. The door even shuts better than it did. This door panel installed. As you can hear there, there's a little bump, there's a little vibration. If you're going to be going down the trails, you're going to be able to hear that. Anyway, the water supply is this little rubber bumper, and you've got to drill a hole in this door panel. Put this bumper on the inside, wherever is closest to your frame, which is probably right here in this corner is where it needs to be. Now, for armor, they recommend that you mark that spot. Then you drill it. Now, what I'm going to do is, I know where that bumper's at. I've done this enough times. I'm just going to go ahead and drill it. And I'm going to open the door. That way I can hold this panel by hand. That way I don't go into my plastic. And with that hole drilled, you just take your bumper and you slide it from the inside out. Now, with the bumper installed, I'm going to shut the door. Notice the rattling, the vibration. Now you can just hear the bumper. The lower door panel's done. Just take and you got 4 little screws left, and you got these 2 little clamps. Just attach them like so, loosely. With them loosely installed, we can go ahead and slip them. Slip the panel on here. And just try to get it so it's squared up. I try to keep this body line right here squared up and this one up here.